Hello everybody. Isaac Asimov said, life is pleasant, death is peaceful, it's the transition that's troublesome. And reading many of your comments on closing down projects, I thought it might help just to have a video with some thoughts and reflections on the project closure process. The way I look at this is that you're only as good as you finish. And I have seen many projects finish very badly. There is almost a sucking sound as people look for new jobs. Things get finished very quickly. There aren't enough staff around to do the reports or whatever it is. And in one fairly extreme case, I remember seeing a stakeholder who only learned that the project had finished when the evaluation team were trying to meet to do the final evaluation. As you can imagine, that did not end very well. So there is actually, I think, the ability to do a great deal of harm by closing down projects badly. You may work directly, your grantees may work really well for a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever the project is. But if you mess up the last couple of months, it's amazing how often you find that it's that people talk about. So you've got your reputational damage, but there are also some very real material risks. You have legal risks if contracts are not finished properly, administrative, financial risks. So there's a lot of risk in this phase. And that brings me on to thinking about, well, what can we do about it? Well, we know that we want a balanced approach to the project. We know that each phase is just as important as the others. And of course the temptation is, oh, we finished, quick, next project, next piece of work. Treat it like a phase. And my suggestion is actually make sure there's a decision gate, make sure you're ready to close, and then use some of the tools. You could have a small, light touch risk register just looking at closure. Some things will go wrong in closure because I don't think I've ever seen a project where they didn't. So an issue log might be helpful. Plan out the activities. Work breakdown structure, for example, just for the phase. Okay, do we have all of the work? Is it planned? What needs to happen when? Who is going to do what? Oh, that's the RACI. And funnily enough, in closure, you find a lot of work being done by a lot of different sorts of people who might not be directly members of the team. That's where RACI can be very helpful. And especially if you find that people are leaving to look for new jobs, you've got a RACI, it helps you to cover the gaps. But then if you've got good risk management, you might be able to anticipate people leaving and extend contracts, etc., etc. My final point about this is don't forget the learning. And it's easy to look at these tools when we've spoken about after action reviews, and you've been doing a mini one in the course and things like that. And sometimes, we're going to do an after action review before the end of the project. Okay, great. That requires planning. It's not going to happen by itself. There is unfortunately no Harry Potter school of project management where things happen by magic. So again, when you are planning project closure, do make sure that you've included the plan for the learning, because otherwise, as I've said before, it's treated as important but not quite urgent, and it gets squeezed out, or even worse, it's a tick box activity, and then you can pretty much guarantee that there will be no meaningful organizational learning. So a lot can go wrong. On the other hand, if you manage it well, it's like tying up a present with a nice ribbon and a bow, and it can actually round off a project really well. So it's an important phase. Let's remember to treat it as such. Thank you. Bye for now.